By the way, we're moving out from France and we're going to move to Budapest. So basically this whole thing is my childhood. I don't even know how I got through school because when I see that, it seems almost impossible. That's the very first, season 92-93. So I was 8 years old. Crowd figures, stadium names, teams. Oh, here was my favorite player. Oh yeah, this one. I was creating my own wrestling shows on and on, over and over and over again, instead of working. This I was a little bit older, 14 or so. Yeah, you see there's a definite progression in the style and in the presentation. I can't believe that was 18 years ago. Jesus Christ. And like I said, I can't believe I was doing that instead of working for school. This is not something you should tell your kids. And it's not something I'm going to tell my kids, but it's the truth. Being bad at school, being not interested in school is the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm going to tell you why. Don't get me wrong, I was going to school each and every day like everybody else. The only thing that was a little bit different for me... Who's texting me now? I just didn't see the purpose. And why has that been the best thing that ever happened to me? Is that when you're not interested at school, then you have 8 hours every day to think about things that you actually care about. If I had listened and worked really hard and just follow everything I was told to do, I probably wouldn't have thought about all this, and I probably wouldn't have created all that. First of all, the fact that I didn't care about school and that I cared so much about wrestling allowed me to speak English pretty decently. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that, because you don't, especially in France, you don't learn a foreign language at school. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely do realize that what I'm saying right now is absolutely not a life advice or anything, it's just my own personal experience. When I was going to school, elementary school, junior high, high school, I never ever cared about anything. I was not working at all, I was not serious, the teachers didn't like me, that's for sure. But on the other hand, there was one thing that I was working on, and that was myself. And I think that's something that really lacks in all our educational system, is that students do not care about themselves. The students don't seek out for their own personal achievements. They just follow the lead until it's time to fly on their own. But when it's time to fly on their own, you're already 20, 22, sometimes 25, and you have no clue what's going on. You have no clue what you want to do. I was bored. I was so bored to death. I had my free mind to think about what I wish I had been doing instead of being bored and listening to something that I don't care about. Deep down in my heart, I was really feeling that my place was somewhere else. Where was that place? I was not sure at the time. Nature just turned me into that little boy who didn't care at all what he was taught. And it was not a matter of having a problem with authority. It was simply a problem of me having to care about what I do. Because now being 32, there is one thing I've kept in mind ever since I left school, is that every time I do something, it's simply because I want to. And if I don't, then I'm going to do something different, or I will change them and turn them into something that I care about. The whole environment and your surrounding, when you're 10, 12, 15, they're expecting you to be able to say, this is what I want to do in life. But how can you figure out what you want to do when you've never tried anything? I really do feel that it's counterintuitive to think that you want to do something unless you've tried. That's why I always say that all the changes that happened in my life were not failures. They were just, you know, spot purposes. I went after them, I reached them, and then I just thought to myself, now what's next? What's the next step? What's the next thing? What's the next project? If I don't have that thrill of change and always having to adapt myself, always having to do things differently, there's no point of living life. At least that's my perspective on it. And the main issue that I have is that when I think about how we're being brought up when we're young, all the time people are telling us, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. If you want to do this, you have to do that. In order to do this, you need to do that. But who are they to tell me or to tell you or tell your nephews or whoever what's good for them? Let people go on their own, do their stuff on their own, accomplish things, fail, change, switch their mind, shape their approach, because that's the only way you're gonna reach and you're gonna get closer to what you really want. How can you know at 15 what you want to do in life? Or people who are expecting you to tell them what you want to do with your life. How the hell? This is nuts. This is absolute nonsense. And this is why some people are following a defined path. And then they wake up when they're 25, 30, 35, sometimes 50, and they just realize, that's not for me. I just went with the flow for all those years, but I never took a few steps back and asked myself, what do I really want to do? So when I was at school, not doing anything all day, not listening to the teachers, being the black sheep of the classroom, I had all this free time to think about all that, and it continued and it continues today. My brain and my mind are still seeking out to those new ventures for the future, because if tomorrow I don't wake up with a new idea, with a new purpose, with a new direction, then what's the point? If I had to tell myself that each and every day I have to wake up and do the same thing over and over again, even for a couple of years, I would go berserk. That's why people are doing a lot of things outside of work, so they can actually use their ideas and do something creative that in their heart of hearts, they know this is made for them. My approach on that is just a little bit different, is that I don't want to wait 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. whenever you get out of work to think, now how can I feel good? How can I feel useful? How can I do this? How can I do that? That's not in my blood. I want this thrill of adventures and everlasting change, because this is what keeps me, and this is what keeps you guys, and this is what keeps everybody alive. If you don't have a purpose when you wake up, then what's the point? So if there are any youngsters watching this video, and if, like I did back in the days, if you suck at school, it's not the end of the world, because your life hasn't started yet. People around you will make you believe that life has already started, and every decision that you make when you're 15 will condition the whole progression that you will have in your life. But there is nothing that could be further from the truth. You're at a time where you are developing yourself, and that you're trying to find what you like, what you don't like. Okay, I said 15, maybe you're 20, 25, it's still the same. If you're just not happy with something, it means that you haven't found yet your own personal purpose. Why are you on earth? I think the neighbors are looking at me. And I gotta say that at some point I was a little bit like everybody else. I was going to a 9-to-5 day job, just doing what I had to do, and then going back home and then doing my stuff, and that's it. If you had the choice, without any money consideration, without any obstacles, without any boundaries, if you could pick on this day anything that you could do for the rest of your life, what would that be? If that's not the job you're doing, then you're not serving your personal purpose. And I'm not saying that I found my purpose. Now I'm managing a travel company, Passion Explorers. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check our website, which is passion-explorers.com. This is the purpose that I'm serving now. But who knows, maybe tomorrow it will stop, maybe in 10 years it will stop. But at least every single day, every single morning when I wake up and I start my day, I know that I am using this to a noble cause. The main thing is that when I found these that I was doing when I was bored at school, the only thing that I can tell you is that for me, these helped shape my brain into something that is completely self-sufficient. Because when you're not listening when you're taught, regardless of the reason, when you're not listening what you're being taught, at some point there are still some things that you gotta do. You still have to figure it out on your own, and being able to figure things out on your own turns your brain into something very creative. You can do pretty much everything you want, because if you accomplished and you reach certain goals on your own without the help of anybody else, then you can do that on any types of projects. Being bored at school, sucking at school, having bad grades was the best thing that ever happened to me. And if there is only one message I can get across through this video, is that I want everybody in the world to make sure that they can ask themselves, is what I'm doing today the things that I'm supposed to do on this planet? Am I seeking out to my own purpose on this planet? Am I doing something that I care about, that I'm passionate about, that my brain is thinking about all day? I hope this video didn't sound too much like the ramblings of a madman, because sometimes when I think about what I'm saying, I don't really think that I'm supposed to say what I'm saying. So if you people agree, feel free to write a comment and let me know, at least if it's just one person, if it's just one person, that's good enough, that can tell me I agree with you. And if you disagree with me, please feel free to let me know as well, and we can share and compare experiences. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, you can check out all the other videos. In any event, I will see you soon for another either food, lifestyle, travel video, or maybe some other ramblings of a nutcase. See you soon.